Welcome to Building Better Relationships with Chuck and Barb Lewis, equipping listeners and viewers with the biblical tools to conquer the difficulties faced in this life. Chuck has practiced crisis intervention since the 1980s and has been in ministry together with his wife Barb for over 20 years. They've taken the countless lessons and the knowledge they've acquired and have put them into this life skills class to share with you. We hope this blesses you.
Well, hello again. I'm Pastor Chuck Lewis, and this is my wife.
I'm Barbara.
And we're excited to be with you for another broadcast of Building Better Relationships. And today on our broadcast, we're going to be talking about holiday dynamics.
Right.
You usually give the title. I thought I'd give it today. So, the holiday dynamics can be wonderful to look forward to certain holidays, but if we have members of our family that are not very easy to be around, I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Maybe they have an alcohol issue, maybe they have a drug issue. And I've had people say to me, well, you know, what do you do when you invite the family over and you're expecting a wonderful time and it just doesn't end up that way?
Right. I mean, maybe somebody starts drinking and gets drunk, or somebody gets in a fight. You know, some of us, you know, could have toxic relatives or something.
Yeah.
And so, what do you do when that happens? But I think it's always good to start your day in prayer and meditation. You know, to get off to the right start with the Lord.
Yes.
Expecting God to do something good. But I think it's good to talk about what your expectations are for the holiday. And if you're inviting everybody over to your house, then you have the opportunity to set some boundaries, you know, if you needed to.
Right. Absolutely. Well, so if you have a family member that's not cooperative and they just do their own thing, they come with the intentions of eating and then it turns into drinking, and they start getting drunk and start saying some pretty incredible things to the family members, especially if they have issues with the family members. That's usually a time where all the stuff starts pouring out and the whole day is ruined. So what we're talking about today is how to try to prevent those dynamics from happening. And I think, Barb, it's perfectly fine if you know of a family member that has that kind of an issue that has ruined other holidays. Take another family member or a counselor or a pastor, whoever, and talk to that person individually prior to the holiday coming up and saying things to them like, you know, we really want you to be there and we want to celebrate you as part of the family. But what we've noticed is in the past you have chose to drink and you get intoxicated, and then you start saying some things that are inappropriate to the family members, and then all chaos breaks out. So to avoid that, we want you to be there, but we don't want you to drink. You know, if you choose to drink, you can drink at your house, you can drink anywhere you want. But on that day, we would really appreciate it if you didn't drink. Now, if you choose to do that, we're going to have you not be invited, basically.
Right. And so basically, like you're saying, you're setting a boundary for what you will tolerate at your house, which if it's at your house, you have the control.
Yes.
And you can set the boundaries. And I really, like you were saying, it's very important to communicate those ahead of time, not just wait to see what happens, you know, so that way. And you didn't communicate it with the family member in front of everybody because you don't want to embarrass them or hurt their feelings. You're just letting them know what your boundary is.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Because the purpose is not to exploit them or use them even as an example. You want to let them know how much you care about them and how concerned you are for them, and you can encourage them to get help if they a lot of people that have a drinking issue doesn't feel like they need help. They feel like they're a social drinker. Feel like, oh, for heaven's sakes, you're making a big deal out of nothing. Yeah, take a drink once in a while. Everybody does, type thing. And what's your problem? But the thing is, see, that's your home and that's your boundary. When people don't agree with your boundary, it doesn't mean that you have to throw your boundaries out the door.
Right.
It just means, hey, you may never have that boundary in your life, but this is mine, and I want you there, but I want you to also honor the boundary. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it, but you really do need to honor that if you're going to be part of this Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever it is.
Right. And, as we've said before when we've had programs on boundaries, boundaries are not to get other people's approval.
Right.
They're to take care of you so you can decide what you will or will not put up with at your house.
Right.
But why don't we talk about when you go to someone else's house and you're not the one that's in control or in charge. And so then you need to figure out what you could do to take care of you, but you can't control other people.
That's a very good point. And the beauty of driving there yourself. And sometimes one member of the couple might want to stay and the other member wants to leave. So what do you do then? Well, you drive separately.
Right.
And it might cost a little more gas to do that, take separate cars, but at least, you're not confined to that place.
Right.
To where the other one wants to come home.
Yes, and that's something you should talk about ahead of time and
Yes.
decide, I know that you like to stay late and visit with everybody and play games or whatever.
Right.
But I, would prefer to only stay for this amount of time, and you agree about that ahead of time, and then it's not a fight or, but you're also not trapped. It's important to do self-care.
Sure.
And think about what you can do ahead of time to provide for that.
Yeah, and with holidays coming up here, the purpose of our program is to help you be empowered with tools and skills so that you're not dreading those family gatherings and feeling like, boy, I'm just a victim and there's nothing I can do. My family has let me know they're going to do exactly what they want to do, and they could care less about my opinion. Well, you can still have your opinions and your own boundaries if they don't agree with them. You can still have them. I've talked to a lot of people that have felt like a victim in their own family. And boy, there's nothing worse as to have a family that you start out, having a good conversation, and then it turns toxic, and the name calling, and what your problem is, and all this kind of stuff. Then the whole thing goes south, and it really can be a horrible experience.
Yeah, have you ever heard the saying, you don't have to attend every fight you're invited to?
Don't have to attend.
So, someone might start into a conversation, and when it starts to escalate, you can take a time out. You can just excuse yourself and say you need to go to the restroom. You don't have to say you're taking a time out, but if you feel yourself escalating or you notice the other person is, you can take a time out.
That's
you
right.
don't have to stay in that conversation. And you mentioned the word victim. So I like to, remind people that we're adults, and when you're an adult, you can take care of your own, you can take care of yourself, you can have your own boundaries. You don't have to sit and take someone's abuse. You're too valuable to be abused.
Right.
As the other person is also too valuable to be abused.
Yes.
So you can choose to remove yourself from that conversation. And one thing I've heard that's a really good way to end an argument is you could be right.
Mm.
You don't have to agree with them,
Yeah.
but you're just saying you could be right. And all that means is, I'm noticing that we don't agree, and I'm just choosing not to argue with you about it. So
Right.
when you say you could be right, where else can someone go with that?
It kind of diffuses it, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So, again, we want you to enjoy the holidays. We want you to enjoy your life. And just because there's people in your life, maybe relatives or not, that are toxic and, that things don't go very well when they come around, then you can really start concentrating on getting the help that you need to be able to draw the boundaries that you need to draw. Because, it's tough to do this by yourself. I mean, you can hear about a teaching like this, but it's like, well, okay, but how do I actually do it? And there's a lot of programs out there, a lot of counselors out there that can really help you to not enable dysfunction going on in your family, but to address it and to bring it out into the light. Jesus said, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free." And truth is hard sometimes to hear, but it's important to hear that truth so that we can be set free.
Right, and possibly in a family gathering isn't the time to deliver that truth.
Oh, not at all. That's not a time to preach, I'll tell you that. That's for sure. Don't wait till your family says, "Don't shout me down when I'm preaching good," type thing. Because they may not want to hear anything that you have to say about that.
Right.
And, the objective of that day is to really enjoy each other, a holiday, and to be thankful for what you do have, and the people in your life that are in your life. You can be thankful to God for them, and really focus on what is good about your family. Now, there's a lot of good things about families. There can be a dysfunctional side, and I think there's dysfunction in every family, but
Yes,
some
definitely.
families get worse than others. But
Yeah.
But if it gets so bad, that's when you need to take action. And intervention is a good way to take action. Don't try to do it by yourself. Don't try to confront that person by yourself.
Yeah.
Get another family member or a supportive family member or somebody else that's going to really help you to draw those boundaries.
Right. And have you ever heard of the acronym for THINK? To think about what you say before you say it. There's an acronym. THINK stands for, before you say something, is it thoughtful, helpful, intelligent, necessary, or kind? And if it doesn't fit in that category, then it doesn't need to be said.
I like that.
You can just be quiet. You don't have to agree or even enter in.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people just say whatever comes to their mind. And just I've heard family members that haven't gotten together for a long time just say anything that comes to their mind, and it's very inappropriate. Like a relative comes along and you haven't seen them for a long time, and you say, "Boy, have you gained weight? You sure look bigger than you last time I saw you." That's not a good way to start a day out and start a conversation out. And incidentally, if you have issues with a member of your family, deal with those issues outside of the holiday setting. Don't deal with that issue during the holiday when you're seeing everybody. Sometimes people take advantage of all getting together and think, "Hey, this is a perfect time to really get my digs in and tell them exactly how I feel about them." That is very inappropriate. And I want you to know, if you're doing that, the other family members are tolerating your behavior and they're not liking it at all. Because people like that talk to me as a counselor, and they let me know how disturbed they are by that kind of behavior. So you're not accomplishing anything. You might feel like you are, but you're just causing a lot of damage in your family. God intended our families to function together in love and harmony and enjoy and celebrate each other. And if you've got issues that you cannot celebrate them, deal with that somewhere else, not
Right.
in that family setting.
Right, with a trusted friend, pastor, or your sponsor, or whatever.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, another thing that we should talk about during the holidays is not doing everything yourself, delegating some things. If you're going to have it at your house,
Yes.
let everybody bring something so that you don't have to make the entire meal.
Yes.
You don't want to, you want it to be a time that you can enjoy, not be resentful. So that's a good message to yourself. If you're feeling resentful, then you're doing more than you should do. And in the Bible, God says, let each man decide in his own heart what he will give.
Mm-hmm.
Because not out of guilt or necessity, because God loves a cheerful giver.
Right.
So that also applies to what you give in your family, is decide the part that you want to do, that you can enjoy doing without feeling resentful. And don't feel guilty about asking, somebody for help.
Right.
And that goes for spending also. That money can be a real stressor during the holidays. And that can be one boundary that you set as you decide how much money you can afford to spend without hurting your budget or causing you problems in the years to, come after that. Because I know one year I decided to charge Christmas and it took me 3 years to pay for it.
Wow.
And it was very painful. And I noticed that at the beginning of those payments, not very much of it was going to principal, and that was really a hard lesson for me to learn.
Yeah.
Make things, decide ahead of time you're not going to buy each other gifts, or that you're going to do a cute a $10 gift exchange or something just to make it fun, or draw names. I mean, there's so many things that you can do to not put yourself under financial stress for the holidays.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important because, boy, some retailers, there's the word, they count on the holidays to make up for the whole year of their budget, and then people spend like crazy, and then they have to try to figure out how to pay it off all year long, which causes a lot of stress on the family right there.
Right.
And maybe you could be addicted to retail shopping, and that's how you feel good about yourself, is to buy things and have tons of things at your home that you're never going to use, but it makes you feel better to buy new things or new outfits or whatever.
Yeah.
So that can cause a lot of stress on the family too, and sometimes you can be boundaryless and spend more money during the holidays, and then you resent the holidays coming around and don't know even why you're resenting that holiday. And that could be the very reason. So draw those boundaries. Make these holidays,
and make a plan ahead of time.
That's right. Make a plan, and you can enjoy the holidays a lot better if you make a plan.
Yeah.
If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And
have a backup plan too. If things don't work out the way you want to, make sure that you have a backup plan. I think it's good to have a plan. It's better to have a plan and not need it than need a plan and you didn't make one. And then the holidays are a very big disappointment for you.
Yes.
And I think you had mentioned gratitude. Thanksgiving is coming up, and we think about all the things that we have to be grateful for.
Right.
And in 1 Thessalonians 5:18, it says, "Give thanks to the Lord in all circumstances, for that is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." So even though most of us don't have a perfect family, there's always things that we can be thankful for. We can go help in serve a meal at a homeless shelter and just see that we have so much to be thankful for.
Barb, when I was single, the holidays sometimes would come around, and I really felt like, oh man, what am I going to do today? Because I didn't have a family around me, to enjoy at that time. And so I started volunteering to visit people at nursing homes on the holidays. Yeah. And I would go and ask the people at the desk, who is in this nursing home or hospital, whatever, that doesn't have any family that's going to be visiting them today, and I would visit with them. And I really started enjoying the holidays by doing that, giving what I needed.
That's great.
To somebody else. So you might think about that this holiday. You might, have a time with your family, but also have a time where you're going to get together and do an outreach like that. Visit somebody that doesn't have any family at all, to come and see them that day. And boy, they will light up like a Christmas tree seeing you come through that door, because just knowing that you're cared about makes all the difference in the world.
That's right.
Well, the time is gone again today. It goes so fast, but God bless you today. We appreciate you being with us. We ask you to hit the
Like, subscribe, and share button.
Yes, all those buttons. Don't push other people's buttons. Push those buttons, and help us on this program, because we really appreciate it when you do that. So God bless you today, and we will look forward to seeing you next time.
If you are blessed by this ministry, please subscribe, like, and share. You can also make donations at chucklewisministries.com. Join us to keep uncovering the tools to build better relationships together. Let's do this again next week.